स्टार्ट कर दिया। स्क्रीनशॉट ले लीजिए। कितने आगे पार्टिसिपेंट्स कुछ आइए। Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll begin with our orientation session on startup awareness. So this is our first orientation session on startup awareness. We'll be having more such programs in the future too. And we'll be focusing on not only startup awareness, but also generation of an ecosystem in an institution. So this program has been organized by the Institutional Innovation Council, IIC, in association with the Industry Institute Interaction Cell, IIC, IIIC, as we call it in our college. So we start with the first slide. Let's begin with understanding what is a startup. So startup is an entity which has been incorporated or registered in India not prior to 10 years under the following. Number one, Companies Act 1956. This is for a private limited company. A Partnership Act 1932 for a registered partnership firm. And Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008 for a limited liability partnership firm. Now, the startup as an entity was defined as a company not prior to 5 years when it actually was proposed in 2015, but as it has gone along and now at present, it has been recognized as a company which has been incorporated not prior to 10 years. Now, what are the criteria to be recognized as a startup company? So let me tell you that the startup company is recognized by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which is also known as the DPIIT. This comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. So to be recognized as a startup, the company's age, as I mentioned earlier, should have an existence of operation not exceeding 10 years from the date of incorporation. Secondly, it should have an annual turnover not exceeding rupees 100 crores for any of the financial years since its incorporation. Then it, as an entity, it should not have been formed by splitting up or reconstructing an already existing business. So it should have an original entity. Then it should be innovative and scalable. What we mean by innovative and scalable, the company should work towards development of improvement of a product, process or service and have scalable business model with high potential for creation of wealth and employment. The basic concept of a startup is to enable the youth of our country to be job creators rather than job seekers. Now, how would we know that, say, our startup is a company which is eligible to qualify as one? So we need to, have a company recognized as a startup. To do that, we could either get a recommendation from an incubator established in a postgraduate college in India, like the kind of incubator that we have in our institution, or we could be supported by an incubator funded or recognized by the Government of India, or we could have been funded by an incubation fund, angel fund, private equity fund, accelerator, angel network, alternate investment fund, duly registered with the SEBI, that is the Stock Exchange Board of India, and be funded by Government India for promotion of an innovation. Then next, we could also have been registered we could also have a registered patent with the Indian Patent and Trademark Office. So if we have any one of these, then we could say that our company is eligible to qualify as a startup. Now let us see the equation of a startup. So as we have just seen, innovation is very important. So the equation of a startup comprises of a new business, not more than 10 years old. So new business, innovation, the technology element is necessary because now we see most of the innovations are technology based. Then the entrepreneur should have passion. That is very important. If you want the startup to make it and to grow, then passion is important. So a new business, innovation, the technology element and passion will surely build up a great startup. Let's see Startup India. Now the Startup India is a revolutionary scheme that was started to help the people who want to start their own businesses. This campaign was first announced by the Prime Minister Modi in his 15th August 2015 address from the Red Fort. The scheme was to help people with ideas and capabilities by giving them government support to make sure they can implement their business idea and grow. So implementation of their business idea, their dream, and to make that idea grow was the main motto behind this Startup India, which was introduced by Prime Minister Modi with the slogan, Startup India, Stand Up India. That was the slogan, and everybody should inspire to be a part of this Startup India so that India would progress and prosper. Now this was the action plan that the Startup India had, and it was proposed by Shri Narendra Modi. The action plan was that no capital gains tax on personal property sold to invest in startup. Then there would be no income tax on profits to startups for the first 3 years. Then self-certification compliance for startups. So the startup could just give a self-certification that they would be abiding by the rules and regulations. No inspections for the first 3 years of the startup. Then establishment of a startup hub, simplification of the patent regime and IPR, 80% rebate on filing a patent application, mobile-oriented applications and application forms for startups, and exit policy. It was noted that most of the startups wind up very quickly. So to give them an exit policy so they can exit out of business, they brought in the bankruptcy bill of 2015. So the startup could exit within 90 days. Then a dedicated fund was established, 10,000 crores for startups, credit guarantee schemes for loans, then new policies for women entrepreneurs, sector-specific incubators were established, bio-clusters were to be established. Now let us see where we stand in 2021. So if you go to the www.startupindia.gov.in website and you open the Startup Hub, you will find this information. Around 266 startups have been given income tax exemptions. Around 4,61,298 registered on Startup India Hub. Then we have startups around 38,756 up to date, which have been recognized by the DPIIT. And many of these startups have been funded by the Small Industries Development Bank of India. So they have been funded by SIDBI. Around 323 such small industry startups have also been funded. Now let us see what is the difference between a business and a startup. Why do we need to go for startups? So if you see, here are some examples that I've cited. One example is that of a Big Bazaar. So if you check out the Big Bazaar, when it started off, it had 350 stores and they were located in around 100 cities. Many of these were metropolitan cities. And the valuation of these, this Big Bazaar was around 2,000 crores. This valuation I'm talking about in around 2015. It was founded in 2001. Now, if you see the flip side, as I may call it, the startup, the Flipkart. Flipkart has no stores whatsoever, 0 stores. They just had 6 warehouses, and the valuation of the company was 98,000 crores. And it was founded so early in around 2007. So you can see a small innovation and where they are at 98,000 crore in comparison to huge investments made by Big Bazaar, and their valuation lies a mere 2,000 crores. Similarly, if you compare Meru and Uber, so if you compare Meru and Uber, you'll find Meru, they had around a huge convoy of more than 12,000 cabs. And the company valuation was around 120 million. And as far as Uber is concerned, we all know that they have not purchased a single taxi. And the company valuation today, as it stands, is more than 62.5 billion. And it was founded around 2009. So this is a startup, and you can see the startup would provide you huge businesses with minimal investments. Okay, now how do we go for a startup? Going for a startup requires jumping the curve. Now, for me to explain to you jumping the curve, I would like to cite a small example. Say, for example, if you think about the age-old days when people knew about ice and snow only when it's used to snow in the winters, and when ice would be covered on lake. Okay, but later on they realized that it was necessary to keep things cold, and it was necessary that there should be some technology by which we could actually generate ice. And then there was what we call as a curve jump, and people started putting on the ice factories, and we had ice produced in ice factories. And then from these ice factories, ice used to go to the place of demand. To reach this place of demand, that ice had to go through some logistics. But this logistics was not sufficient to retain the ice in its form. It would melt. Okay, so then they thought about some other technology where we could produce ice in the place of demand itself. And then there was a curve jump, and we had refrigerations, and we have the deep freezers which came into existence. So that was what we call as a curve jump. And from that curve jump, we have another curve jump wherein we have mobile deep freezers. Today we talk about a cold chain, and we require another curve jump wherein we can have portable such kinds of refrigerators which could enable us take vaccines below sub minus 20 and sub minus 70 degrees centigrade, particularly if you see the main issue for an mRNA vaccine. So this is what we call as a curve jump. So there is a change in the technology, although the product remains the same. But as far as innovation is concerned, the innovation as we defined it earlier would be an improvement. It not only could be in the product, but it could be in the process or in the service. And all this, what I've shown on the left and the right side, are nothing but improvements in the process and services. You can see on the left side top corner, you can see that's a photograph of a departmental store. And instead of having a departmental store which is catering to the community around us, today a startup has come up which will cater to the world, such as Big Basket and Snapdeal. Instead of having a fleet of taxis, we have Ola. Instead of having to go to such expensive luxury hotels such as Taj hotels and resorts, we could choose our hotel at the place where we would want to visit through Oyo rooms. Instead of enjoying the ambience of a restaurant and going all the way there to have good food, we can generate an ambience that we desire in our house and order food from Food Panda or Zomato. So that is again change in the process using newer technologies, and that is how the startup is generated, by jumping the curve. Now, if you may wonder that who are these people who have thought about these kind of innovations. So the youth are the leaders which are showing us the way. Whether it is the Paytm or Flipkart, Snapdeal, Ola, Oyo Rooms, you find youth is showing us the way. If you see the age when they have launched the startup, the age were between 21 to 37 years old only. Ritesh Agarwal, who started the Oyo Rooms, he aged only 21 years. Bhavi Agarwal aged around 28 years. Kunal Bhal had a similar age, about 28 to 31 years. And so was Sachin Bansal. And Vijay Shekhar Sharma had an age around 37 years. So very young, but they started off with great startups which are doing booming business in India and abroad. Now, if they can, why not you? So what is required to actually make the difference? The only thing that is required is an idea. So the idea will make the difference. Now I'll give you this a slide which is showing you the digital revolution that is occurring all around us. Have you ever imagined that we have Instagram, the most valuable photo company which sells no cameras? Netflix, the fastest growing television network, lays no cables. Airnip, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estates. Facebook, the world's most popular media provider, creates no content. It relies on our content. Uber, the world's largest taxi company, I just mentioned, owns no vehicles. And Alibaba, the China's most valuable retailer, has no inventory. So they all have thought out of the box. So it is rightly said, if you don't think out of the box, you will be out of the box. Now, if you want to succeed, what are the elements that you need? What are the elements of success? So there are 5 essential elements of success. That is idea, having a very good team, a business model, some funding, although you may start with a low investment, but you will eventually require a lot of funding. So funding and the timing, which is very, very important. But I also talk about something else, and that is the sixth sense. So many are born with the sixth sense. They come up with the idea as well as the sixth sense. But many need to be given that particular sixth sense. And that sixth sense can come with mentoring. Now let us see how to start. So it is nice to talk about startups, but if you want to start, how do you start? You have the idea, but what you would require to start are good people. You would require something, an idea that would be able to, fulfill the needs of the customers, the needs of the target audiences. And it should be the need of the times with a future scope. Now, you should be able to grasp the change. And you should not be afraid of that particular change. You should keep your initial investment low. And if there are issues with funding, you should seek assistance. You should manage the change and be ready to embrace success. Now, these are some of the innovations that have just arrived as far as the pharmacy services are concerned. One is the telepharmaceutical care, or what is known as the telemedicine. There are so many telemedicine companies which have already come. There are telemedicine apps which are available. You can directly order the kind of medication you want. You could upload your prescription and you would get the kind of medication. Telehealth counseling has also arrived. We have multimedia health education which has come in a big way. Now, soon we'll be having evidence.
गौरव चला गया अभी, अब निकल गया वो।
Sorry for the disturbance. We'll just continue in a moment. I just 4 more slides to go before we can end.
Yes, continue.
Okay, so as I was saying, there are some innovation pharmacy services which have just arrived. You have the telepharmaceutical care, telehealth counseling, multimedia, health education, evidence-based drug evaluation, remote inpatient order reviews, drug dealing robots, prescription requiring apps, and personalized drug prescription platforms which are just across the corner. You would have DNA data determining drug services. So your DNA would determine the kind of drug services that you would be desiring. All this will be ML and AI based. Now there is a time to reposition the pharmaceutical research, and I would like to just show you a kind of slide that I think about as far as repositioning is concerned. Now we all know about repositioning of drugs, repurposing, reformulation. I don't mean about repositioning of the pharmaceutical active ingredients in pharmaceutical research. What I'm talking is in terms of repositioning pharmaceutical research, and that is by giving a paradigm shift to the kind of research that we do and the kind of publications that we make. So instead of publishing our research, we should start now patenting. Okay, so we should shift, and there should be a paradigm shift from publishing to patenting. It is said that you publish and you perish today, and you patent and you flourish. Okay, so let me speak a little bit about our Institute Innovation Council and how we can help you. You can see this photograph. This is comprising of the various members of our Innovation Council, which is we are being led by the president of our council, that is the in-charge principal, Dr. Abu Bakr, and we have the convener of our council, Dr. Furqan Khan, and all eminent members here who can help you to incubate your startup idea at our center. We can take your idea to what is called as the POC, that is the proof of concept, and even beyond. We could also help you pitching your idea for gaining funds from various funding agencies. We are here to encourage young members to think big and to achieve bigger. As Dr. APJ Abul Kalam very well said, that it is a sin to think small when you can think big. So we encourage young members to think big and to achieve bigger, provide them support and hand-holding, what we call it as mentoring for their growth. And we will be continuously organizing and conducting such program and such events so that we can create awareness of startups and ecosystem generation. So I would be ending my small presentation with this beautiful slide that I always carry with me as a thank you slide, where Steve Jobs says that the only way to do good work is to love what you do. So if you are in love with innovation, you want to create something, you want to become an entrepreneur, you can go ahead. You can also come. We are here to assist you. Our incubation innovation center is active 24/7, and you can contact us. And I also request you to please visit our college website. This is one of the most interactive websites that you will find for any pharmacy institution. So thank you so much. And if there are any queries and questions, I'll be ready to answer.
All the participants are questions.
So if there is anybody who would want to ask some questions, you can ask before the session ends. I will be sharing my PPT with all the participants. You can go through this PPT. It's a small one. It is the first just a sensitization session. In our next session, we will be talking more about the various stages and steps in incubation of an innovative idea. Anyone?
So anyone is having questions? If you want, you can paste your questions in chat box. Sir, one question is there.
Yeah.
In the chat box.
I'm happy to help. Yeah, you can ask the question. Yes, can you just tell me what the question is? Or you want me to see it in the chat?
Yes, sir. Please check the chat box. One question is there from one of the participants.
Just a second, I have an issue with my chat box. I'll just check it here.
Sir, I'll read out the question what the participant had pasted. How PMFME scheme helps to start up?
I will just request the participant since it seems to be that he is related to the food processing industry. So I would just request him to please go to the website mofpi.nic.in, and there you will get the PMFME scheme, and there they would give you an idea as to how you could use this particular scheme for using it for food processing entrepreneurship. They are giving you some credit linked capital subsidies around at the rate of around 35%.